You've spent years trying to be nice, yet there's that one person whose smile feels like a cold winter wind. You walk into the office, and the air suddenly feels heavy, not because of the workload, but because of a silence that screams, "Most experts tell you it's just your imagination." But Carl Jung knew better. Your intuition isn't lying to you. It's simply reading a language that the modern world has forgotten. The nice coworker who accidentally forgets to CC you on a vital email isn't clumsy. They are at war with their own shadow, and you've become the battlefield, the uncomfortable truth. Someone probably dislikes you right now, and it has absolutely nothing to do with your flaws, but everything to do with your strengths. We're taught to seek approval, but I'm here to tell you that being disliked is often the first sign that you are finally stepping into your power. In this deep dive into human behavior, we are going to stop playing the victim of office dynamics and start using psychology as a superpower to see through the masks. I'm going to show you how to decode the too sweet voices and the accidental snubs that are actually calculated moves from a suppressed complex. We're moving beyond simple relationship tips and into the realm of shadow work, where you'll learn that the person who hates you most is actually your greatest teacher. By the time we're done, you won't just detect their secret dislike. You'll understand the exact personality traits in them that are crying out for attention, and you'll know exactly how to stay unshakable. Think about that one coworker who constantly complains that you're too aggressive or way too competitive, even when you're just quietly hitting your targets. It's a bit rich, isn't it? Coming from someone who spends their entire lunch break checking the leaderboard. According to Carl Jung, this isn't about your human behavior at all, but rather a classic case of projection. They are essentially taking their own internal trash, the parts of their personality traits they find unacceptable, and dumping it right onto your doorstep. It's as if they are looking at you, but they are actually seeing a mirror that reflects the very things they hate about themselves. In the complex world of office dynamics, this happens more often than we'd like to admit. People use you as a canvas to paint their own insecurities. If someone is always accusing you of being judgmental, take a breath and realize they are likely struggling with their own inner critic. Instead of getting defensive, try asking a neutral question like, "That's an interesting perspective. What specifically gave you that impression?" This simple shift moves the focus back to them and prevents you from becoming a victim of their mental movies. Understanding this psychology allows you to stop taking their spikes personally, because you realize the arrows aren't actually aimed at you. They're aimed at the person they see in the mirror. When you master this, you stop being a character in their drama and start becoming the director of your own piece. You'll find that their words lose their sting once you see the fear hiding behind their accusations. But don't get too comfortable just yet, because sometimes the signs of dislike aren't in what they say, but in the strange, spiky energy they radiate when you walk into the room. It's almost like they are reacting to something invisible, a hidden part of themselves that only comes out to play when you're around. This is where things get truly deep, as we dive into the darker corners of the mind where the shadow likes to hide. Have you ever noticed a friend who is a total sweetheart to everyone else, but turns spiky or cold the moment you enter the conversation? It's a bit of a head-scratcher, isn't it? When someone's human behavior shifts so abruptly for no apparent reason. In the realm of Carl Jung, this person isn't necessarily a villain. They are simply being haunted by their own shadow. This is the dark basement of the mind, where we toss all the personality traits we've been told are bad or unacceptable since childhood. If you are confident, talented, or perhaps just comfortable in your own skin, you might accidentally be shining a light on their hidden insecurities. Your very presence acts like a flashlight in that dark basement, reminding them of the qualities they've suppressed or the dreams they've let die. This isn't about you being mean, but about their shadow work, or lack thereof, reacting to the gold they see in you. It's a heavy burden to carry, feeling stuck in a state of envy while trying to maintain a polite social mask. When you encounter this spiky energy, the best relationship tips involve staying grounded in your own light rather than dimming it to make them comfortable. You could try the validation technique, genuinely compliment a strength they do show, which can sometimes soothe the shadow and lower their guard. For example, if they're a great organizer but cold to you, mention how much you appreciate their efficiency in a casual, non-confrontational way by acknowledging their value. You may find that the spikes begin to soften because they no longer feel threatened by your brilliance. Of course, dealing with this invisible tension is just one piece of the puzzle. as the mind often uses the body to signal what the tongue is too afraid to speak, even if they manage to keep their spiky comments in check. Their physical presence might be screaming something entirely different. It's fascinating how the psychology of our movements can betray our deepest secrets without us even realizing it. This silent language is where the real truth often hides, waiting for a keen eye to spot the cracks in the facade. It's quite a spectacle when you realize that even if someone's words are polished, their body language is usually shouting the truth. You see, Carl Jung believed that the psyche and the physical self are two sides of the same coin, locked in a constant silent dialogue. When two people truly click, they naturally mirror each other. A subtle dance of leaning in or matching gestures that proves they are in sync. But when someone secretly harbors a dislike, that dance turns into a rigid, invisible wall that no amount of polite small talk can hide. Next time you're at a dinner party or navigating tricky office dynamics, pay close attention to the direction of their feet and shoulders. If someone is speaking to you but their body is angled toward the exit, or if they tightly cross their arms the moment you chime in, they are projecting a no. These social cues are the body's way of creating distance because their inner self feels a deep sense of friction in your presence. It's as if their unconscious is trying to physically push you away, while their ego tries to stay professional. To handle this, you can practice the open stance to see if they'll eventually follow your lead and relax. By keeping your own body language open, uncrossed arms, relaxed shoulders, and maintaining soft eye contact, at the very least, you remain the anchor of the interaction. You might even find that by subtly leaning back, you give them the psychological air they need to stop feeling crowded. It's a powerful move that shows you are in total control of your own energy, regardless of their subtle walls. However, spotting a turned shoulder is easy compared to the person who does the exact opposite, the one who is too nice. We've all met that individual whose sweetness feels a bit like a trap, where every smile feels like it was rehearsed in a mirror. This brings us to the concept of the mask, a performance so perfect that it actually starts to feel a bit sour. Understanding this specific type of human behavior is key to identifying the most dangerous kind of hidden resentment. We all have a persona, that necessary mask we wear to navigate the world without revealing every raw emotion to a stranger. But have you ever encountered someone whose mask is so sugary sweet it actually makes your teeth ache? In Carl Jung's view, an over-the-top performance of kindness is often a defense mechanism designed to hide a brewing storm of resentment. If a colleague uses a cartoonish tone of voice or smothers you with compliments that feel hollow, they aren't being friendly. They are overcompensating. This too much sugar approach is a classic sign that their true personality traits are in direct conflict with how they feel they should behave. They are terrified that if they drop the act, their secret dislike or envy will come pouring out like a broken dam. Authentic human behavior has a certain weight and grit to it. It feels grounded and real. When someone's niceness feels like a theatrical production, it's usually because they are trying to convince themselves, as much as you, that they don't have a shadow. If you suspect you're dealing with a sugar-coated adversary, the best approach is to maintain a professional yet firm boundaries-first policy. You don't have to mirror their fake energy. Instead, stay calm, direct, and factual in your office dynamics. For instance, if they give you a hyperbolic compliment, a simple "thank you, I appreciate the feedback" keeps the interaction grounded in reality without playing into their performance. By refusing to join the play, you force the interaction back into a space where honesty has a chance to breathe. It's a strange game they play, isn't it? Trying to hide the truth behind a wall of artificial sweetness. But even the best actors eventually miss a line, and the unconscious mind has a funny way of making sure the truth gets out. Sometimes the mask doesn't just slip, it cracks in the most unexpected places. This leads us to those accidental moments where the real feelings finally leak through the cracks of the persona. Have you ever had someone accidentally forget to include you in a vital email thread? Or perhaps they've forgotten your name for the third time this month. It feels a bit like a deliberate punch disguised as a clumsy mistake, doesn't it? Carl Jung taught us that these aren't just simple lapses in memory. They are often driven by complexes. These are clusters of suppressed thoughts and feelings that leak out when the conscious mind lets its guard down, revealing a hidden truth about their human behavior. When a person consistently forgets you, their unconscious is effectively trying to erase your presence because your existence triggers a sense of discomfort or inferiority in them. It's a passive-aggressive form of projection where they try to make you feel as invisible as they feel in your presence. In the world of office dynamics, these slips are rarely random. They are the psyche's way of acting out a dislike that the person is too cowardly to express directly. They are essentially trying to edit you out of their reality. The best way to handle these accidents is with the gentle call-out instead of getting angry, which only feeds their complex. Simply bring it into the light of day with a calm, friendly smile. You might say, "Oh, it looks like I was left off that invite again. Could you make sure I'm on the permanent list so we don't have this hiccup next time?" By addressing the mistake directly and helpfully, you show them that you are fully aware of the social cues they are sending, and you refuse to be diminished by them. Watching the truth leak out through these tiny cracks is like watching a masterclass in the psychology of the soul. It reminds us that no matter how hard someone tries to hide their shadow, it will always find a way to speak. But understanding why they dislike you is only half the battle. The real transformation happens when you learn how to use this knowledge to accelerate your own journey of shadow work. It's time to move beyond their masks and start building your own unbreakable inner strength, now that we have stripped away the masks and peered into the hidden depths of the shadow. The question is no longer, do they like me, but rather, what am I going to do with this truth? You see, most people spend their entire lives running from the discomfort of being disliked, but you now hold the keys to the psychology of the soul. Are you going to let their projection and silent body language dictate your worth? Or are you going to use this clarity to accelerate your own journey of shadow work? The next time you walk into a room and sense that spiky energy, I want you to smile, not the fake sugar smile of a weak persona, but the calm grin of someone who sees the invisible strings. Ask yourself, what part of my light is making them uncomfortable? Real growth starts the moment you stop seeking validation from people who are still at war with themselves. I challenge you to observe your office dynamics tomorrow like a scientist. Don't react, just watch. How many social cues have you been missing simply because you were too afraid to see the truth? If you are ready to stop being a pawn in other people's internal conflicts and start mastering your own human behavior, you must decide to be the protagonist of your story. Why do you think you've attracted this specific type of energy in your life? Is there something in your own personality traits that needs to be integrated? This is the path of individuation, and it is not for the faint of heart. If this deep dive into the mind of Carl Jung has opened your eyes, then don't leave your progress to chance. Subscribe to the channel right now and activate those notifications so you never miss a step on this psychological journey. We are just scratching the surface of what it means to be truly awake in a world of sleepers. Stay bold, stay conscious, and I'll see you in the next shadows.